Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for joining me today. It's always lovely to spend time with you. Now, today's little catch-up, I had such lovely comments about this design that we did the other day, and you've asked me about a variation on a theme, and it is lovely when you get in touch. Thank you. I really do appreciate all your lovely comments and feedback. So this sort of corner to corner technique, the original one I did was at the demonstration day at our Lavinia headquarters HQ, the extravaganza, and thank you for those that came. And this, it just went down a storm, and just such a lovely design, and off the edge design with gentle stenciling in the background. And this used, let me check, I think it's the bramble stamp. And what's lovely is this, when you actually do the stamping, because I always do my stamping first, it could actually make a sympathy card. Such a lovely stamp. And also you could actually change your orientation and have it actually hanging down. So it's nice to show you variations of themes, and because I've been asked about how to expand on this and the fact that you love the lovely technique, I've come up with another. Let me move these out of the way. It's that thing where we have all these one sides, isn't it? So we'll put those to one side, and I created this one. So again, look through your stash, look what stamps you've got, and this is the beautiful honeysuckle. And that is just, and I think that's the elegant stamp stencil in the background. You know me, I rename them in my head. The funny place that my head is. And I just think, look through your stamps and see what you've got. And this one I've left without a verse because I thought it would make the most gorgeous get well soon, or, you know, just thinking about your card. And again, this could be put that way. You know, don't always think of your DL cards this way. I'm thinking that would be gorgeous that way. It almost reminds me of two hands, but honeysuckle, they do sort of creep towards each other, don't they? So again, go through your stash, take these designs, you know, on here when we come in to give you ideas, it's hopefully, well, for me anyway, I really want to almost get those crafty juices flowing, because I know we all struggle for ideas at times, and I think if I can almost get in your head, you might not want me there, but you know what, I'll crop up, you'll find yourself saying cheeky brew and biscuit, you watch out how many times it appears, I get in your head. Then you'll start saying belt and braces, and then you know I'm definitely in your head. Excuse me. But yes, the idea is that hopefully you will look through your stash and you'll think, well, do you know, I like that, but actually I'm going to use different corners, or I'm going to use different stamps, different colours. But once you start creating, it's amazing how, you know, your head just does flow. So, you know, just do have a go and use what you've got. So Jackie, one of our lovely crafters, asked me to do a different size. As you know, I love my DL, or slimline cards as they're called. So I've gone for a basic 6x6 here. So similar design, but again, showing you different stamps, different stencils. Now, Jackie also asked if I could brighten it up a bit. You know, I'm a bit sort of gently tickling this stencil. So Jackie, just for you, we've brightened it up. I've gone bolder with my stenciling. But you know what? Thank you for getting in touch. It's lovely. And again, it made me look for different stamps. So for this one, we're going to use the red leaves stamps, and there's two on this set. Again, we're bringing in this beautiful fairy charm, and once again, obviously, we've got to stamp in permanent ink our envelope. So we'll make a start, and I'm going to come in. So because this is going on a 6x6 card blank, I've got my multifarious card at 5.5 inches. I know you like inches, ladies, by 5.5 inches. And as always at the beginning, I'm just going to add that black Sharpie line, because you know me, I'm just a crafter, and I do that thing every so often of my pen when I'm not concentrating whizzing across my card. And I've got to be honest, if I've spent time stamping up my design, I may give some expletives out. I do get upset. So for me, it's just got to be done at the beginning. But maybe that says something about my confidence levels. But there again, we're all human, aren't we? So we'll get rid of that. So it's interesting how you can still do this corner on a square card. And again, it just, you know, mixes it up a bit. And what I'm going to go for is have more stamping on the top and less on the bottom. You could do it perfectly even. We've done the one before where we've done a complete reflection. You know, like I say, just take it and play with it. So with this, we've got 2 stamps. One's larger than the other. So I'm going to come in with a larger one first. And I'm going to work on my top corner. But for me, I'm going to have it nearest to stamp on. Just because, again, that's the way my head works. So we'll put this and we'll stamp our main image here. And then we'll just come in, sort of make a sort of a fan type shape. And what's lovely is you can almost look, just before you stamp, take your time and just look and see how a lot of these stamps, Tracy's so clever, I don't know how she designs them, that they almost tessellate. So they actually look good stamped next to each other as though they're from a larger stamp. Now again, I don't want to over stamp, so let's have a look. How would this one go? Oh, there you see, look. Those berries. I'll show you what I mean. If I turn it around, make it easier for you. Those berries almost go in the shape of the gaps from the first stamping. So it's nice, it looks like it's from a larger design. And what I'm going to do is just at the ends, I want a little bit of stamping. So I'll come in with the smaller version. And just sort of come in off the edge, just a little, just finishes off that edge, I do think. Don't you? To me, for me, this side is more appealing than this. That just looks almost like it's cut off. We don't need a lot up there, just a little. And often, if you look, it's those little extras that make all the difference. So we'll put some in this corner. And again, I think we'll do one with our larger stamp. So how are you keeping anyway? How are things going? I hope you're having a good week. I do love our Tuesday catch-ups. Here in the UK, it's 5 o'clock. So I'm usually cooking our meal while I'm catching up with you. You know what we're like. We can multitask, can't we? So I've done one of the larger stamps, and then I'm just going to bring a couple of the smaller ones. I'm thinking I just want to keep some white space. You could put them closer together if you want. Like I say, with this, there are so many possibilities. We'll just give that a bit of a blot. And then I'll bring in our lovely fairy charm. And again, before I stamp it, I may put my head over the camera, so I do apologise. Just which one shall I hang? Yeah, I think we'll go for that one. And it does look beautiful hanging from foliage. See, I could put that there, but I want my sentiment on. Oh, I've got a little bit of ink on my block. And if I don't wipe that off with my Inky Binky, you know I'm going to get it on here. So I'm thinking here. So if I hang, as I say, sorry if my head appears over camera. I just want to get that so it's hanging from the foliage, look. Now, if you'd got a gap there, I mean, as it happens, we were a bit lucky there. We've actually got the thread obviously hanging off the foliage. But all you would do is get your Sharpie pen or your fine liner and then just draw. Now I'm actually going to put a couple of little bows, or little bow, so it looks like it's tied on, look. But again, if there was a gap, or if you'd have gone over the top, just make it into a bow. Always ways for getting round things. Now we'll go for a sentiment. I think I'm going to put birthday wishes on this one. Because if it's one thing I'm going to need, I'm always going to need an extra birthday card, aren't I? I think this will make a lovely birthday card. So again, let's try and get, with a sentiment, you really want to try and get it straight. So let's put birthday wishes here. And again, what I want to do is tie the two sides together. So we've almost got the hanging heart and then the... So again, remember how your eye reads? So that, to me, that flow. And again, it's just little things like that it's worth thinking about. Now, for a real clean and simple card, if you wanted, you could leave this at this stage. You could just add a little bit of colour and leave it with the stamping. But obviously, me being me, I just want to add some stencil work. And again, that belt and braces thing, I'm just giving that another blot because I really don't want it to smudge when I add my stencil work. So I'm coming in with the Stencil Glory, and we're going to go for 2 colours with our Elements ink pads. We're going to add some Sundance and some Russet Orange. As you know, I've got a bit of a thing about orange. But then, you know, we all have our little things, don't we? I know a lot of you are blue fans or green fans. Now, stencil brushes, you have asked me how many I've got, and it's 1 per colour group. So this is my orange one and this is my yellow one. I do have to make sure I don't get these two mixed up. Right, stay. Thank you. So when it comes to my stenciling, I'm going to do the larger area first. And I spend a bit of time placing my stencil, but also I'm mindful of these edges. I don't want to go over these edges. Now, you could tape your stencil down, but you know me, no time for that. But also, I want to look here. Be nice if we had almost like one flowing towards the birthday wishes, almost like it was cupping round there. Right, I like that. And that's okay here. So to start off with, going to start with the orange. Always take some off in the lid. That was a lovely tip off one of you lovely subscribers, so thank you for that. So I'm going to start in the corner because I do like my corners deeper. So again, gently, gently. And again, we're going to tickle. And I've been demonstrating quite a lot recently, which is lovely, with a lovely company, Stampers Grove. And, you know, when I'm demonstrating Lavinia stamps, the one thing that most crafters do tell me is when they're putting the ink on through the stencil, unfortunately, they're very heavy-handed and do ask, how can you stop doing this? So again, that's that thing of me getting in your head, saying to you, tickle. So you hold your brush very gently and literally just tickle. And to be honest, also, you're going to use less ink. These brushes hold so much ink. So I'm just gently going round. And you'll be surprised if you lift that up, look, how much colour you've got. So let's bring in some yellow now. We almost want a little bit, we're not going to blend it completely, but we want to try and get a little bit of yellow here. So if we put the yellow at the edge here, and then work our way back into the orange. Now they are very, very near colours, these two, you'll be surprised. So they blend beautifully. And it almost seamlessly looks like it's just one colour. But again, I haven't got a problem with that because I like that seamless blending. Yes, and I'm happy with that. So I just love the way that we've got the darker orange here and it's coming to the yellow here. Or almost, it looks like light orange, doesn't it? So let's do the same from this corner, turn it round. But I am being mindful that we've not got as much area. So I don't want to come quite as far, so we'll go with that. I'm not going to ink up because actually there's quite a lot of ink on my stencil. And again, I'm being mindful, gently, gently, because you'll be surprised how much ink you get off that brush and that stencil. I mean, if I lift that up, look at that. So let's come in with the yellow. Now I may need to add a little bit more yellow to my brush. I'll just take a little bit off the lid. Not a lot. I really don't want to I know you want it bright, but a tiny bit more up here. just a cup, I think, around this part of the wishes. Yes, there we go. And that just to me again looks like the two are flowing together. So I'm just going to put the lids on my ink pads again, try and get in those good habits and putting my stencil brushes away. Now also, we've got the lovely colour on the stencil here. So let's take our water brush, our water pot, sorry. I was that busy, I was looking at Eric then, sorry mate. Time for your shower. And let's just clean that ink onto a piece of card. Bless him, he lies under my craft table every time I craft. One of these days, I'm sure you're going to hear him snoring on camera. So again, just clean up your stencil. If you get a print you're happy with, if you get one you're not, do you know what? You can always add to it. The beauty of this is you never know what you're going to get. And at the end of the day, you are just cleaning up your stencil. And look at that. Now, to me, that is just beautiful. So that was the Glory stencil, which I've now just dropped on the floor. But like I say, look at that. Not sure if you can pick up in the light just how much there is. Now that will look beautiful with, what about Rue just stamped there? Yeah. And as it dries, you will see more and more. I don't think you can quite see, it's not showing up, the areas of colour around that will. As it dries, you'll get more. I don't want to put the heat tool on it because anything like this is better if you let it dry naturally. So again, that's going to go over there to that other one side. And let's have a wipe. So I want to add some colour now to this. Lots of ways we can add colour. And I try to show you different ways because I don't want to always just use the same things. So quite often we've used our chalk pastel pencils, we've watercolour painted, we've used our Elements inks and water. So I thought today we'd just come in with a couple of the Signo gel pens. Now I'm just going to take the lids off and hold them in my hand. And what I'm going to do is just randomly colour the berries. Now, I don't know about you, but do you know what? I'm just not very good at random. It's quite funny, it messes with my head. But I've gone for 3 colours. And I've gone for this beautiful sort of speckledy green, glittery green, because I thought green foliage. The gold really is to go with the yellow and orange tones. And then I just thought some pink. Let's add some pink in there. So, like I say, I'm just randomly going to add some colour. And also, there's some highlights on the lovely blackberries. There's areas, and I'm actually going to, instead of using my white, I'd normally use my white gel pen, I'm going to use my gold, and that hopefully will tie in the gold. So this side, I just want to be mindful. I don't want to lean on my work, and I'm hoping you can. It's quite a dark day here today, so I'm hoping you can see. So I do apologise if the light's not very good. It is amazing, isn't it, when you're working in your craft room. I don't know what your craft room's like. I mean, I've got a window here, but it is amazing how the light can make such a difference. Well, that's my excuse anyway. I do find it does, though. The other day, it was a very grey, wet day, and it was almost quite, felt as though there was going to be a storm, you know, almost when the air's heavy. And it was amazing. I did have a headache, and I'm sure it was just either the air pressure or the fact that it was just grey. I just couldn't see very well, even with all my lights on. And it's quite funny because Eric got right under my chair yesterday. He really wasn't happy, and I think he knew as well. So I've done my green, and I'm just going to add a few pink now. And I always say this, but you will take longer to do this. I'm always conscious of you watching. Although it is lovely, a couple of you have messaged and said that you love watching, you know, somebody painting or colouring in. It's quite relaxing, so that's nice. these are lovely to colour in. And again, at home, do you know what, if you've had a bad day, and I know a couple of you are going through it at the minute, and so I do send all my best to you, you know, just sitting and spending a little bit of time. I mean, if you're short for time, I know some of you caring after relatives, and that's not easy. Mikey, our younger son, used to have really bad seizures, and, you know, I know what it's like when you're caring after somebody day after day. But what I used to do was stamp a design up, and this would be ideal. You could stamp a couple of these up one day, another day add a little bit of stencil work, you know, if you'd got 10 minutes, and then another day when you just need a bit of time, just colour one in. Even if you only had 10 minutes to colour one side in, if it takes you out of that little space, I think we all need sometimes that time to just go into your own little world. And I think that's where crafting really can help. But to be honest, that's where we on here, such a lovely family, we can help each other. And we do. Right, so I think I've done while I was twittering on there. Now, my heart didn't stamp all that well, but to be honest, I wasn't that particularly bothered because I'm going to go over it with my pink gel pen. Because I just want it to have that pinky tinge. I could have inked it up in another colour, but for me, I find it easier to do it this way. And again, you know, it's up to you if you have a way that you prefer. So I tend to, as you know, keep all my pens in my hand at one time. And so now I'll just pop the lids on. We all have these little quirky things. I'm sure you do as well. But I just think that's so pretty. And it's got, look at that lovely sheen. I'm hoping you can pick that up. Now, I do want to just add a little white highlight. Now, I'm not sure if it'll work yet because my gel pen is still a bit wet. Oh, it will. But what's nice is your Posca will actually go on top of your gel pen. Now, my finishing touch, you can either add some ink. So I would probably go for, say, green and add some ink splatters. But for this one, I thought we'd go for our Posca splatters. Now, again, a few of you have asked about these. Remember, they have got a ball bearing in. So anything with a ball bearing in is a sign you need to shake it. So before you use it, give it a good shake. The other thing is they aren't pump action, so check it's working. Now, you can tap them. I know you can use your stencil brush to tap them, and that's fine. I'm just a big fan of doing some flicks. But as I say, if you're a tapper, a flicker, whatever, and I'm just going to add a few like that. But if they don't work, and a few of you have said you struggle with them, give them a good shake and also a pump action and then flick. Pretend you've got that whip and you're doing that whipping action. And then you get these lovely, lovely, and it's the shapes that I like. You can almost see that flick. So, but it does go everywhere. But do you know what? Sorry, excuse me. We were doing so well, weren't we? I have to say, for me, I love that. The fact that I just get it everywhere. Right, so that's our design finished. I'll bring in the original one and open it up like I do. And we'll pop that one there. Now imagine that with different colours. As I say, with different stamps. Different sentiment. Like I say, I'm hoping it just gets those crafty juices flowing and gets you inspired to go in your craft room, get your stamps out and see which stamps you can use with this. And just try a variation on a theme. So we've gone from DL cards, square cards. You could make it smaller. If you got a 5x5, this would look beautiful on a 5x5. You know, you could do along the edge on this size. That would look lovely too, wouldn't it? Right, I'm struggling now, so sorry about that. I'm going to go make myself that brew. I'm a bit later today. So you take care. you look after yourself and just take 5 minutes out just for you. It's really important. And if you need a hug, we're all sending you a hug. See you again next Tuesday. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.